Some systems like to way overcomplicate this. What happens if I have this around here and then this one's over here and now I got this wrist grab? And all right, so I want to talk about wrist grabs, but I want to make sure that we don't overcomplicate this because it's very easy to overcomplicate something that's so simple. Mm-hmm. And B, I want to call out some of the principles first before we get started. So any type of wrist grab is going to have to do with my hand grabbing your wrist. Okay. Now, the thing most universally present in each one of these defenses is to go against the point where my thumb and my pointer, or my thumb and my fingers, come together, because that's going to be the weakest part of the grip. So that's going to be the same throughout. So I wanted to talk about it now so I don't have to keep saying the same thing on each one of these that we do. Also, in all of these wrist grabs, it's really important to not pull back against it. Does that make sense? So what I mean is that when I grab her, she's not going to pull back and essentially cinch this in. Especially if I'm pulling, I don't want her to try to bring in that opposing pressure of pulling back against where I'm pulling, because again, it's going to make this a lot stronger, this grab, and it's also going to make it to where she's going to be putting herself at a disadvantage. All right, so the first one that we're going to do is going to be a same side wrist grab. Now what she's going to do here, and I'm not going to put in the pulling and all that kind of stuff right now because I want to show you the technique, and then you can kind of, through your own training, kind of play with pulling and pushing and all that kind of stuff. But what she's going to do is she's going to turn her thumb more towards the inside of her body, and that's going to align the bone in her forearm to where it fits between my thumb and my pointer finger. From here, she's going to pull the thumb close to her sternum, and she's going to shoot the elbow in towards me. And what that does is that creates a push-pull leverage, which with my grip is very hard to hold on to. So one more time, I'm going to grab, she's going to turn that forearm, and then she's going to push-pull here, right?
So let's say it's like this, and then...
If it's like that and you try to curl this in, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But,
so then I'm fighting your strength over, like with my own strength, which is not good.
Exactly. But if you turn that thumb in, and then you do the push-pull motion that I showed, it's really easy to come out of that. Now I'm going to hold on really tight, and just bear with me, YouTube keyboard warriors. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm not making it easy for her, because I know you guys are going to comment this. So she struggles a little bit, but it's a lot easier. Now try it the other way, to where you're trying to curl in. It's not going to work, right? So from here, push pull, turn, push pull, bam, right there. Now from here, granted, I just grabbed her, and maybe I'm trying to pull her somewhere, maybe I'm trying to get her somewhere, maybe I'm trying to intimidate her, right? She may have to follow up with more counterattacks. We have striking videos, guys, that you can reference in order to understand how to follow up with this. Again, I don't want to overcomplicate. Take care of the wrist, take care of the immediate problem, which is the grab, and then you can follow up from there. All right, so the next one that we're going to go over is going to be a cross grab. Taking my hand opposite of hers, and I'm grabbing here. So from here, she's going to take the point of her finger straight up, and then from here, she's going to turn her wrist where the blade of her hand is pointing towards me, and she's going to drive that straight down to the ground. Now, what this does is with this leverage here, she's going to be stronger, especially if she can get her other hand and place it on top of mine, and then use that to move around. When I have one hand, it's really hard to fight back against that. So she's going to place the hand, and from here, she's going to drive it straight down. Now, and I want to turn so you guys can see. Here, turn this way a little bit. Not all the way. But when I'm in this position right here, the bones are already aligned with where my fingers are at. Once she goes to drive this straight down, if I'm holding on as hard as I can, there's absolutely no way that I can hold on to that.
Okay, so what if you're like, you keep me from bringing this up?
I'm so glad you asked. So obviously this is going to be against a resisting opponent, right? I'm not just going to grab you and be like, try to get out now. Oh no, it's not going to happen that way, right? Sometimes you have to do something that's going to take my attention, even if it's just for a split second off of what's going on here. So if you get that guy that's really, really strong and I'm just not going to let you or anything like that, take that hand and pop me right in the face. And it doesn't have to be hard, but just enough to be like, shit, I got hit, right? And then you go through with it, right? And you want to make it as simultaneous as possible, right? So if you grab cross hand, right, from here, I don't want to hit and then there be a full beat in between me coming into here, right? I want it to be almost simultaneous to where I'm hitting and then I'm driving. Or if I'm hitting, taking back, and then driving, right? So you want it to be kind of in a quick succession. Exactly. Because my mind is going to be on the fact that I just got hit. Even if it doesn't hurt, shit, I got hit.
Yeah.
If you're hitting to the ear, it's going to take my attention. The last one that I want to go over is going to be a double-handed wrist grab here. If I'm here, all my muscles, I'm at my strongest, right? But the thing is with this, is both of my hands are tied up. You still have one free. Exactly. And we're going to use that to our advantage. So what she's going to do is from this grab right here, she's going to hit me, and it can be to the side of the head, to the ear, or it can be straight on to the top of the head, to the nose, to the throat, wherever. From there, exactly. From there, you're going to reach in, you're going to make a fist with this hand, you're going to reach in and grab that fist, and pulling straight up and out, you're going to get the release. Especially if you have to hit me first. Okay, so to make this a little bit more realistic, if I'm grabbing you here or here, I'm not going to sit here and be like, got you. Now give me all your money, right? It's not going to happen that way. Most likely, if I'm grabbing you here, it's because I'm trying to forcefully pull, right? And you don't want to do that. You don't want to post back, because in order to be able to get in and release the grab, to confront the issue, you're going to have to come with it a little bit. Because what's going to happen is if you grab here and I post back and you're pulling, if I'm going to use a technique to try to take your mind off of it, first of all, I'm going to be out of range unless I give into it. If I give into it, though, then it's like we have this whole thing here, right? So from here, as soon as I start pulling, as soon as you feel this pull, take a slight step in, hit me in the head, and then, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So to kind of close this out, right, we just addressed the 3 different wrist grabs, and obviously there's so many, and it cracks me up because some systems like to way overcomplicate this. What happens if I have this around here, and then this one's over here, and now I got this wrist grab, and come on, guys, let's be a little bit realistic. Sometimes we tend to overcomplicate things just to look better, right? Another thing that I want to kind of bring to light is, again, if I grab your wrist or something like that and I'm trying to pull you somewhere, chances are this isn't going to go good for you. So be prepared to follow up with counterattacks. If I'm here and I'm pulling and you go to do the release, right, and you do that release, go ahead, you're in a perfect position to, as you're trying to get away, throw that counterattack, throw that side kick or something like that, right? And this is something I want you to keep in your mind, because just because you got out of the grip doesn't mean that the fight's over with, and you have to be prepared to go farther if you need to.